So yeah, it was exciting. I did pass a long time in the Arctic for the Discovery Channel, and it starts. The Arctic is like something that gets into your mind.
It's a drug.
It's a drug, and grows bigger and bigger. We started. When I started, I actually started exactly in Churchill where we were, and I was following a very nice biologist called Malcolm Ramsey. He was doing radio coloring some polar bear, and I remember the first time I saw the bear. We was walking in the tundra, and then they saw a bear, and they dart the bear with tranquilizer. And the first time I went next to the bear, and everybody has to be silent because the bear is basically paralyzed. The bear can see you, but he cannot react. So you have to be careful that he doesn't get scared. So you all are talking quietly, and he was putting the collar in, another person was taking off a teeth from the poor bear. And I remember I asked him the permission to touch the bear. And I thought in that moment, I thought, few people I think in the world that can touch a polar bear and don't get eaten. And I touched the bear, and the fur was not soft as you think. It's beautiful, but it's very hard. It's like icicles. The fur of the bear is very hard, and then he has a second layer of fur that is close to the skin, that is more like wool, that is very soft. But the big fur was, and I was fascinated and was watching this, the face of this bear, which I promise you, this was a male polar bear, 490 kilos. The head was so big. And then that day finished and was very exciting, and then I went back maybe a few days later, and I kept dreaming bears. It's true, I kept dreaming bears. And I just went back. This was happening in November, and then in June I was back in Baffin Island for a long time, filming with Doug Allen, which is our also wildlife cameraman. And from there I started on. The Arctic gets inside you, and then it's very difficult to don't go up there. And there is few things that happen that are funny. One is when I came after the trip in June in Baffin Island, and there you really walk on the sea ice, and you are 15-20 kilometers offshore, and you are with the Inuit. You are completely in this other planet. The air is so clear that it happens that you see things that are beyond the horizon. And there is a reflection, like the desert, the mirage in the desert. And I remember when I came back to my office in Via Teulada in Rome, I could not stay inside the office. I felt claustrophobic. It was a very strange feeling.
Well, I'm happy you do. It's a very good story that you came up with. And we don't talk about those things, but they're in the story. And so they're strong because you don't talk about them, but you see them and interpret them and draw your own conclusions, and hopefully we'll feel the same way about the North and looking after it, because it will be gone. By the time you guys make films, it will be gone if we're not careful. So everyone's motive was to make, everyone wanted to work on the film, and everyone knew how important. In Canada, it's a big subject. This is all fragile and it's going to vanish. Not just, as Brando says, not just the bears, but all the incredible number of animals that live up there disappearing and will be gone in a very few years. It's like nobody paid attention to Ebola until now. They're not paying attention to this. It's going to be gone. So this is a story that doesn't talk about it, but it makes you think about it. Interesting, fascinating, a little nervous-making, but it's very different from anything else. It's the most beautiful place in the world. It's also a very dangerous place in the world sometimes. And we always had people with us who knew what was safe and not. And they all had a big drill. They carried a gun and a drill. A big drill, and they would drill the ice all day long to find out, is it that thick or is it this? Because it would change. And it had water on top of it, and there was hundreds of feet of water below it. So how thick it was really important. And sometimes it left. We had to get off it before it left. But it was, and they carried guns, not to kill bears, but if you meet a bear and they're very, you know,
You scare him.
you want to scare him and you have a polite disagreement and go other direction. Many of them, we picked people who've been up there on other films, who knew about it and who wanted to come. They knocked, everyone wanted to do it. Everybody knew about the script and everyone thought they're going to have a bear cub. How often in life could you spend 2 or 3 months with a 3-month-old cub? I mean, it's a remarkable thing. We hope we find an audience. It's a lovely story and it's a beautiful film, a beautiful bear. You never know what will happen, but we hope that people love the bear as much as we did. It is an extraordinary. We've only shown it once before, we had a preview. We had extraordinary, for people from 5 to 12, but their parents and their oldest brothers and big families came. And that was very, very nice. They had lots, they all wrote little things about it afterwards, and they were very, very smart, very engaged. It was surprising. They talked about the themes. Yes, they loved the bear. I thought they would just write about the bear, but they talked about growing up, about the North, about the global warming, all these 8-year-old, 10-year-old kids.
Yeah, they know
very engaged, engagés.